It's 100 degrees outside, and I just got back into town, so we're gonna take a look at the garden. I was gone for about 10 days, I think, maybe a little longer, and it looks like we have a little bit of growth going on. As you can see, it turns into instant jungle. And so today, look at that, those are tomatoes. You can't even see anything. There's tomatoes in there. And these are all the beans. Everything is just overwhelmed with growth. And so, yeah. Anyway, today's gonna be a lot of trimming and getting this cleared back. And the way I trim is pretty aggressive. So maybe I'll show you a little bit of that too. A friend of ours stayed at the house and did a whole lot of beans. Like, I have a basket. I'll have to show you that basket. It's a huge basket full of beans. But you know, I'd explained to her, Nicole Dominguez, a really good family friend of ours, that, you know, if you don't pick the fruit, it just dies. And if it dies on the vine, it can kill the plant. And so she did a great job of picking lots of beans. And so I have a big basket full of beans. So trimming, these are all cucumbers, by the way. Look at this. It's just taken over. There's peppers and eggplant down here. You can barely see it. I already trimmed some of this here back. And so I'm just going down the fence and I'll just keep trimming. I got me a little gherkin there, working his way through. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna take this plant right here, who's in my way. Let me see, well, let me get a different one. And I'm just gonna chop them right off, see? Like I said, I kinda get a little aggressive with how I do my trimming. Because, you know, this guy, he's going to invade my peppers, and then my pepper isn't going to do well. So you know what? You're gone. Look at that. Look at all that pile. That's a cucumber right there. Cucumber plant piled up. Yeah, just chop it off, man. I don't know what they say. All I know is it's in my way. So get these guys out of the way, because the peppers need to come through. So just chop, 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 chop. I have so many cucumbers that there'll be plenty. It's not gonna kill the plant. And whenever you do chopping like this, you know, you wanna make sure that, you know, especially like this, it's 100 degrees outside. And so the plant is going to be somewhat stressed from the heat. And now I'm chopping this thing back. But I have to do it today. My schedule doesn't allow me too much time to get out here. And so I have to do this today. So I'm just going to chop it back real good and then give it a really, really good watering to help relieve the stress from the heat and from me just whacking it. I'm just whacking it. But, you know, God gave us the authority in the garden to do with these plants and to tend to them, and so this is how I choose to tend to them. Yeah, they'll be okay. I'll get some stuff. Like the wasp doesn't seem to mind. See, he's in there enjoying a gherkin. He's helping pollinate these things so we can get extra cucumbers going, and we'll have a lot of them. Oh, there's another cucumber there, and then there's another cucumber there. See, this is just in one like 6-inch section. There's going to be cucumbers everywhere. And so we'll have plenty of cucumbers. So whether I whack this thing back or not, they're going to grow. They will grow. And so that's it. Whacking cucumber day. Next we'll whack tomatoes and whatever else he's whacking. Stuff's just growing out of control. Thank you, Jesus, for all the plants. So these tomatoes are very close together. each cage, tomato, 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 tomato. And they're pretty close together, way closer than what they would say to do it. And which is fine, you know, that's just how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grow them close together. I'm gonna pack them in so I can get a lot of different varieties in there, and by doing that I will have a lot of tomatoes. And the problem with that can be that they're gonna grow way into each other, like they're gonna intersect and probably crossbreed. So I may have some weird looking tomatoes, but they'll taste just delicious. And so what I'll do, chop them off, right? Just whack, like I was doing. I like that word whack today, and so that's the word I'm using. And what I like to do is say, hey, look at you getting outside your cage. I'm just gonna whack you off. Look, get back in your cage. This is probably not a traditional way. I've been told you're not supposed to trim tomatoes in this fashion, but you know what, I'm like, just get back, stay in your cage. I keep them inside of their cages as much as I can so that we can, you know, just have some sort of conformity in my garden. You know, I understand that, you know, the fall of man occurred in the garden, and so there is a little bit of tension now, but you know, this is going to be a good garden. So I'm just going to trim them up like that, and I'll go all the way down, and I'll keep them all trimmed up inside the garden. I mean, inside these cages. See, I just whack it like that. Just keep them in the cage, trim them out. Now if there's some fruit on there, like if I already see a tomato, I may just let that thing stay. See, look right here, we have a tomato. So I'll make sure not to cut that one off, because I'm going to keep him in there. But then maybe after he grows out, see how he's growing? Look, I'm just going to chop this. See this whole line here? I'm going to take that whole thing off right there. There, that whole thing just fell off. You know, just throw it over there in the trash pile. And then I got my little tomatoes are growing. The other thing I'll try to do is try to keep them all, try to keep them inside of the cage if I can. Like this guy here, I can pull him inside. I haven't been around for over 10 days in the garden. I've missed this garden for a while because I was traveling. But usually what I like to do is come through and get these plants to grow inside their cage, get the tomatoes in their cage so they can utilize their own space as much as possible. I mean, I know they're going to invade each other, but if we can keep them inside their cage, then that would be a little bit easier when it comes to harvest. So, okay. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'm going to go through and whacking tomato day.